million option with the Celtics, agrees with the Hornets on a deal worth $120 million over 4 years. Carry on, my Hayward son. With Hayward wayward, Boston filled its roster with point guard Jeff Teague and big man Tristan Thompson, who they hope can work the boards. Last Celtic to average 10 rebounds in a season was Al Jefferson, 06-07. Rajon Rondo was a rookie on that team. Now he's a two-time champion and an Atlanta Hawk. 2-year deal for a club that needed to get Trae Young some backcourt help. The Clippers agreed to a deal with Serge Ibaka to fill the gap left by the new Laker Montrezl Harrell. Ibaka averaged a career-high 15-plus points per game last season. Oh, there's no place like home, even if Toronto may not be able to play at home. Fred VanVleet agrees to a 4-year, $85 million deal, largest contract signed by an undrafted player in NBA history. And Carmelo Anthony, smelling roses, again agrees to re-sign with the Trailblazers. 1-year minimum deal. Portland needs scores, and Anthony can score the basketball. Adrian Wojnarowski's phone does not have an off button, and we're all better because of it. All right, NBA, how does the Gordon Hayward deal go down with Charlotte?
Neil, in 2014, Gordon Hayward was playing with Utah. He was a restricted free agent. Michael Jordan and the Charlotte Hornets signed him to an offer sheet. Now, Utah matched it. But Gordon Hayward, his agent, Mark Bartelstein, remembered the effort that Charlotte made to try to get him back east then. Well, they were able to pull it off this time. He had talked with a number of teams about sign and trade scenarios, including his hometown Indiana Pacers. But Charlotte was able to create the salary cap space, $30 million a year, to sign Hayward to, as we reported, a 4-year, $120 million deal. He wants to have the chance again to be more of a player who's going to impact his team. His role diminished as time went on with the injuries, the emergence of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in that Celtic front court.
All right, so when Boston knows, hey, Hayward's not coming back, where does their focus turn?
Well, they got a commitment today from Tristan Thompson, free agent center from Cleveland, who they had talked on and off again about trading for a number of years. But, listen, to get the money off of their cap with Gordon Hayward this year certainly allows them some flexibility to do some things. While it was nice to have Hayward at $30 million a year, it didn't exactly financially balance out their roster to have that much money all tied into one position on the team.
All right, Rondo's got a couple rings, one with the Celtics, one with the Lakers. Now he's a Hawk. What's he bring to Atlanta?
Yeah, he goes there 2 years, $15 million. And this is an Atlanta team that wants to get tougher. They want to get more physical. They want to get better defensively. They can score the ball, built around Trae Young. Rondo can play a leadership role on a very young team, and a team that hopes, I'm not sure they're a playoff team this year, but they want to get closer to the postseason and start competing in the East, to play in the playoffs.
When it comes to the NBA, nobody works harder, nobody does it better.
We had a free agency frenzy, at least that's what the transition says. The Lakers added the reigning sixth man of the year. They agreed to terms with free agent big man Montrezl Harrell. He's going to play his home games at the same place that he did after spending the last 3 seasons with the Clippers. As for those Lakers, they agreed with Harrell not long after Dwight Howard agreed to a 1-year deal with the 76ers. Our Bobby Marks reports that deal is for the veteran minimum exception of $2.6 million. Kings guard De'Aaron Fox has agreed to a max extension worth at least $163 million over 5 years. His agent told Bobby Marks he was the number 5 overall pick out of Kentucky in 2017. Veteran sharpshooting forward Danilo Gallinari finalizing a 3-year, $61.5 million deal with the Atlanta Hawks. His agent of CAA Sports tells ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. And Steven Adams is headed to New Orleans as part of the Drew Holiday trade. Adams averaged almost 11 points and just over 9 rebounds last season for Oklahoma City. As for a few of the other deals that got done in the NBA, the Jazz reached agreements with both Jordan Clarkson and Derek Favors, who will be returning to Utah. Joe Harris is staying with the Nets after signing a 4-year, $75 million deal. And Mason Plumlee is headed to the Pistons. His deal, Randy, for 3 years and $25 million.
All right, El, thank you. Woj is with us all morning here on SportsCenter AM. And Woj, let's talk about this Montrezl Harrell deal. A surprise even to Patrick Beverley, who tweeted, what? And then a couple of choice emojis here. So fun for his soon-to-be former teammate. How did this deal come together?
Well, after Dwight Howard surprised the Lakers, took that offer in Philadelphia, Montrezl Harrell needed a home, and the Lakers moved in, offered him their full mid-level exception. So now he'll go from being, playing that six-man role with the Clippers to perhaps now the starting center for the Lakers.
That's one heck of a lineup they're building, continuing to build with the Lakers there. And one deal that Elle told us about is the Drew Holiday deal and how Steven Adams moves to the Pelicans as a part of that. What more can you tell us about behind the scenes with a move like this?
Well, you've seen now Oklahoma City has moved toward a full rebuild. They traded Chris Paul. Danilo Gallinari is reported is going to Atlanta. And now Steven Adams, one of the most popular players in Oklahoma City's league history. He'll go now with a year left on his contract. The Thunder get something for him. They get a first-round pick via Denver as part of that larger deal, a couple second-round picks. And Steven Adams will anchor that back line for Stan Van Gundy in New Orleans with a lot of young players, few better influences, locker room, and a player who can still play at a very high level.
Talk about building a culture. He's a guy who can do that there for Stan Van Gundy. That's Adrian Wojnarowski with the very latest. He'll be with us all morning on NBA Free Agency.
Every hero need his theme music. Sit on the throne and you can never move it. I hear my destiny is calling. So say hello to the champion. Say hello. All these wins starting to feel spiritual. They think that is magic. Welcome to the late show. I be King James version when I'm on the West Coast. So say hello to the champ.
We just want our respect. Our organization want their respect. Laker Nation want their respect. And I want my damn respect too.
They say hello to the champ.
I'm still trying to figure out who doesn't respect LeBron James. The defending champion Lakers have been active in free agency so far. LA's already added former Clippers big man Montrezl Harrell. They brought in Wesley Matthews. Dwight Howard, there have been some additions and some subtractions. Dwight Howard's gone. He left LA. He's going on to Philly to join the Sixers on a one-year deal worth the veteran's minimum exception of $2.6 million. And the Lakers are still waiting to get a commitment from Anthony Davis. Davis is on course to eventually agree on a deal with the Lakers. But he said he just wants to take some time to sort of look at the details because it is going to be, you would assume, a significant extension. With that, our NBA front office insider Bobby Marks is joining us now. How is this Lakers roster already so different than the one that just won a championship a month ago?
Yeah, rarely do you see a Laker team that just won a championship totally flip over the roster. And this is the team that left us in mid-October in here, and this is what they did last night and earlier in the week. Montrezl Harrell, he goes in and replaces. Come on. We're not going to.
Look, it's the Dwight defense.
We're not going to.
No one's replacing me.
I think what we did was, I think we broke it last night. I think we broke this last night. So what we're going to do is we're just going to explain it to. Montrezl Harrell goes in with Dwight Howard. Dennis Schroeder replaces Rajon Rondo. Wesley Matthews replaces Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. So we totally flipped over this roster. And what it does to next, as you can see, they've got 6 roster spots.
Okay.
We're going to do some early Saturday morning math here.
All right.
All right.
Oh, God.
You ready?
Oh, no.
Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
Okay.
You don't see him on there.
Right.
Okay. The most they can pay him is $12 million
right.
to be able to stay under the hard cap. What's next after that? All minimum exceptions here. So it's basically their choice is going to be Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and 4 minimums, or they can sign 5 players to the minimum exception. They're a little bit below the cap, the luxury tax here. So they still have some options, but now it's kind of just some bargain shopping with this roster. But yeah, as I said, Anthony Davis is next, filling out the roster, but Rob Pelinka has totally flipped this roster from what we saw in October.
Is that a good thing? I mean, so long as they have their core piece, like you still think that they have what they need intact to repeat potentially?
Hey, if you have